Answer me an obvious question. Why doesn't it say in the Chumash that what's the nature of our Lord, Shebal? What's the nature of Shebal? What is it all about? Why is it necessary? I'm going to tell you something very startling and very deep. It's not my own, but that's the written quote. In the Chumash, by the creation of man, when man was created, it says in Chumash, Vayipach va'apov nishmas chayim, and the Almighty, Hashem Yitboch, breathed into his nostrils, blew into his nostrils a ruach chayim, a spirit of life. Right? If I gave you that sentence to translate, you would translate more or less the way I'm translating it. He blew vayipach va'apov nishmas chayim. He blew into his nostrils a spirit of life. We would say that's the neshama of the soul of man. He blew it. There was a form. The Shlomo took the dust, Rashi says, from the four corners of the earth, mixed it up, put him on a mustache, a little kippur, a guy like you, he's standing there like this, and then he blew into him a spirit of life. Well and good. In the Targum, on that process in the Targum, the Targum usually sticks to the literal translation. That process in the Targum, the Targum says, V'have leruach mimaleh. Instead of saying he blew into him a spirit of life, it says, and behold, he became a spirit that speaks. A most noteworthy deviation from the literal translation. V'have leruach mimaleh, a spirit that speaks. We have to understand when you learn the Targum, it's a very profound science about the Targum. The Targum here is simply defining to us the uniqueness of man. There's a whole cosmos. There are wonderful, beautiful creatures in the world. I truly was talking to Reform a few weeks ago. We were talking about elks and deers and does. I happened to see them a few times. I was riding in a car slowly, and one time I was walking, towards evening time. Just in the afternoon, the late afternoon, as the sun is setting. I was amazed. I was standing there. I didn't want to frighten them. The beauty is breathtaking. The ability of a young deer. I don't know the exact name for it. The softness and the poetry of such a situation. The world is filled with beautiful creatures. The world is filled with beautiful creatures. And each one has its unique function. Its unique personality and its unique function. The power of speech is endowed only for man. Now, speech, we don't even know what we're doing. There's the most interesting Gemara, I believe it's a Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says in the name of Rav Shimon ben Yochai, he says, Rav Shimon ben Yochai was teaching about the power of speech. So he said, if I were at the time of creation, if I had any say in how we should create man, I would create man with two mouths. Instead of one mouth, I would make him, it's a Gemara, it's Yerushalmi, I believe, it's with two mouths. Why? He says, one mouth I would reserve only for Kedusha, for Torah, for sacred things. That mouth would never speak Lashon Hara, never speak slander, never speak evil, never be obscene. He says, in the other mouth, I would use the worldly matters. So one of the worldly matters. So one of the disciples were there and asked him, if you would have had any influence at the time of creation, you would have made to feel that there should be two mouths. He says, why didn't the Rebbeinu Shalom make two mouths? He says, you know why? He says, because if we would have had two mouths, we would have spoken Lashon Hara, slander with both mouths. But what I want to point out from that Gemara is that Shimon ben Yochai and great people, they understand the power of speech. Speech is a gift. I speak to musicians and I ask them, when do you begin to teach a child talk? 4 years old, 3 years old. Can you start when you're 16? So big musicians told me, too late. It's a talent, you got to work on it. From your earliest youth, you have to develop the muscles. And, from your earliest youth, you have to train, put in hours every day. And I read that if a musician, a virtuoso musician, skips a day of practice, the talent wanes. In one day, if he skips one day, he is not such a virtuoso, he's not so perfect as he was. He's got to practice every day. The talent is so subtle, so fragile, the talent. He's got to work on it every day. They say that the big musician practice 4 hours every day. I spoke to there was here a brother of one of the fellows here who was very into ballet. You think you might what's ballet? So he says if you skip one day, he says you can't already do certain, you've got to start all over again to do certain. These are talents, these are powers in a human being. I was once riding in a taxi in Manhattan. I took a cab. I had to go someplace with a cab. I got into a cab. The Jewish taxi driver. Riding, oh, Rabbi, he talked to you. I had to ride with him, I would say, about 20 minutes. He's speaking to me. He opened his mouth. It was a sewer. He was so obscene. It was a sewer. And he, wanted to show me how Jewish he is. He was a very nice guy. And now, I couldn't believe it. I said to myself, this man doesn't mean to be abusive to me. To me, he speaks with derech, with respect. What's the matter with him? Doesn't he realize that he... it reminds me of the joke, in Israel, in a school. The father came, the principal called the father up that his kid is cursing. Using obscene language, and he's cursing with the other kids. The father comes into the office. He says, Ma, he said, what, my son? He starts cursing his son, and you think, he uses foul language. He doesn't know. He doesn't realize. What is it? The power of speech is so abused. And it's a talent. The power. Linguistics. If you go in the higher echelons of science, what is this thing, the power of speech? It's the most delicate, the most holy gift that man has, the power of speech. But we don't know what are you talking about? Speech, what do you call it today? A rap session. Rap. What do you call it? The power of speech. The Talmud says that the greatness and the uniqueness of man, that this was the Chumash says, Vayipach ba'apod mishnas chayim, that it wouldn't say such words in the Chumash, you couldn't express such words. It's only Nebuah that could say that that the procedure of creating man was he blew into his nostrils a neshama of life, and the time, you know what that is? What that distinguishing feature is? The power of speech. That's the crown of him. That's where he rises above all the beauties of nature. Power of speech. Now, let's get back to Sinai. When the Torah was given, the Torah wasn't a Boy Scout book, a handbook to a person, do a good deed every day. Follow these instructions, take an old lady see that she crosses the main street, help her cross the street. The Torah is not a good book. The Torah is a type of chokhmah that addresses itself to every aspect of human existence, to every depth of human existence, to the very roots for where human being grows and comes from. The pinnacle in this world, in the empirical world, in this world, the pinnacle of a human being is this power of speech. The Torah wasn't given to a book. Do you know that it's a very interesting thing that there is no university in the world, there's no school in the world where they learn like they learn in yeshiva. See somebody sitting, somebody singing the song. Can you imagine going into the university and saying, Payas, where the base angles of the isosceles triangle are equal? Yes. Yeah. But you understand? The Gemara comments, you must listen. The Gemara makes a very comments about this. The Gemara says, on a pasuk in Mishlei, I believe it is, Chayin hein l'motzeihem. Chayin hein l'motzeihem, which means that the Torah is life to those that find it. So the Gemara says, there's a Korean exif, so the Gemara says, Al tikru l'motzeihem, al l'motzeihem b'feh. The Gemara says that the Torah is a source of life only if when you study, you articulate the words that you study. You're learning about You're learning about Hamei Yiged, you're learning Eaton, Hamei Yiged, Medina Sayyam. I've heard people learn with all kind of what's the there's a fellow yeshiva used to learn with that part of the symphony. And with that symphony he used to learn. You don't see such things in the university. Why? Because the Torah must interact. It must interact with the highest expression of humanity, which is the power of speech. It must touch and saturate and interact. There must be an osmosis procedure with, no, you could be a genius and look like this. No, you're not doing good enough. You're not doing good enough. According to Talmudic law, you're not doing good enough. You're not doing good enough. Because the relationship between me and the Torah, the Jew and the Torah, has to be in the highest and deepest forces that he possesses. Yes? Therefore, the Torah was given in the dyadic tradition, in the dual tradition. A Torah Shebal, a written law and an oral law. There had to be the oral involvement. It had to be something that went me pet from mouth to mouth. Hold on, woman. Coming to you. Hold on. Woman, take all questions when I finish. I'll lose my track. And there's yet more. I want to watch the time. The Torah had to be a Torah Shebal and a Torah Shebal. And the completion of the written law had to be the involvement of the mouth. You look in the Rambam in the very beginning of his Sefer, he says, Moshe Kibbutz Torah Sinai, and he counts out the generations all the way down. Moshe gave it to Yeshua and to the Canaan, and they gave it to this, and they gave it to Shmuel HaNavi, Shmuel HaTachiyah, Shimoni, and to David HaMelech, and all the way down, and one for Rabbi Akiva, all the way down. There's a long list, remind me to show you, all the way down how the thing was transferred orally. It was transferred organically, involving the most dynamic factors in a human being. That's Torah Shebal, Torah Shebal. There came a point in history, getting closer to your question, where the Rambam writes, the Golas began to develop. They asked him, being a displaced post-person, DP, and imagine, Jews began to move. You've got a friend, the guy lives in France, he's been there who knows how many centuries. A Jew, he was born in Bukhara, he ends up in Queens. It's a hard thing. You gotta learn a new language, a new culture. Oh, it's very hard. So the Rambam brings, the Gemara brings it in a place also, that sorrow, persecution, obstacles, difficulty began to be set in all Yisrael. And our law began to shake. You can only transmit Torah Shebal Peh under normal, peaceful, consecutive conditions. If there's a war, this and that, so Rabbeinu HaKadosh of Yehuda Nasi saw what was happening, and he went and he took our law, which was not permitted to be written. The Gemara has to find a license. They took our law and they recorded it in the Mishnah. 1 minute, and I'm finished. After him, about 100 or 200 years after him, the trouble became more intensified. Rabbeinu and Ravashi saw that it's getting bad. It's going to affect the memory. So they recorded the whole Gemara. And they canonized it, and they closed the Gemara. Rabbeinu and Ravashi. Now, here we are. Let's imagine that we were living in the times of Rabbeinu HaKadosh and the times of Rabbeinu and Ravashi. And we're meeting, and this is a convention of Jewish Talmidei Chachamim, of scholars, of leaders of that generation, and we have convened to deal with the problem that there is persecution, there are problems, there is unrest, there are wars, there are people being sent into diaspora, and we want to contain and guard and save the body of our Lord. Okay. So, this young man will say, okay, we'll record it. 1 moment. Sure, we're going to record it. We're going to write everything out. You can't write everything out. You can't write. Why can't you write everything out? This is a difficult concept. Not everything in Torah is for everybody. What do I mean by that? The democracy. Oh yes, everything in Torah, the truth in Torah is for everybody, but in order to understand certain things in Torah, you have to be fit to understand that. You're going to go to a guy on the Bowery. I don't know if you've ever seen these drunks that are rolling around in the street on the Bowery, and you're going to speak to him and try to explain to him the chapter in the Yechezkel and Ezekiel about his vision of the mighty throne of the Almighty. What are you talking to him? What are you talking to this drunk? What are you talking to him about? It's the throne of the Almighty. I mean, these esoteric things. How can you speak to him about that? You can't. You have to be in a certain level of intellectual and moral and ethical tahara, purity, to discuss certain matters. Now I come into a house of me and says to me, why don't you quiet. He's so full of a whole day, his mind is in business. And now he's drinking a cup of tea at night, so he all of a sudden becomes a theologian. And I go in over 10 minutes over a cup of tea and discuss with them honestly, intellectually, honestly, why we're not changing anything. I could say to him if I was honest and I wasn't be afraid of insulting him, abusing him, say, look, listen, I appreciate your interest. You want to really know? Come to Shiva, take off 6 months, sit down, and learn something, and we'll discuss it honestly. We'll try. Either you will convince me or I'll convince you. But over a cup of tea for 10 minutes, you want to explain, I should explain to you something that exists there over 2,000 years. Well, please, you're not authentically interested in what we're doing. And it's not fair to me to discuss these things. I mean, there are matters and there are issues in Torah that there are issues in Torah that I fear to look at. There are esoteric matters. There are matters that require purity and holiness before you even need to think about such things. Now, I like to stay with a hot dog. I mean, where do I come to discuss the matters that the Chafetz Chaim discuss? A person, this above all, that I know to be true. When they had to write down the entire body of the Torah law, the written law, and the oral law, there were things they could not write down. They couldn't come over to say, open up the Gemara, and somebody there are Gemaras. There's the Gemara of the Basra says, there was an eagle, I think the Gemara says it was as big as a 747 plane, an eagle. And it laid an egg that the egg cracked and it flooded the city. Does that make sense? Any baby sees that this is a code. Any baby sees that this is a code, that they're saying something. In the Gemara, you find places all over, very interesting, peculiar things. I'll give you an example. There's a Gemara in Akonis, but the Kama, the Gemara says like this. The Gemara discusses a certain law. So the Gemara says, the question, does he have to pay, or he doesn't have to pay? So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yankov Mishalim. Rabbi Yankov has to pay. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yankov has to pay? What does Rabbi Yankov have to pay? What did he do? So the Gemara says, oh, excuse me, Rabbi Yankov Oima Mishalim. Rabbi Yankov says he must pay. So he asks me, that sounds ridiculous. We're discussing a law. Does he have to pay, or doesn't he have to pay? So it's the opinion of Rabbi Yankov that he does have to pay. So it should say, Rabbi Yankov, I'm a Mishalim, he has to pay. So the line before, no, it doesn't say that. It says, Rabbi Yankov Mishalim, Rabbi Yankov has to pay. It sounds ludicrous. That's the Gemara is, Rabbi Yankov has to pay. He didn't do anything, what is it? He said, oh, no, I didn't mean that. I meant Rabbi Yankov, Rabbi Yankov is of the opinion that has to pay. What's going on? I never knew. When I was a kid, I learned the Gemara. I didn't know what the Gemara meant. I got older. In a state of, I don't even know what the words mean of one of them. It's a very, very profound statement. And I happened to open it, and I saw he goes on Dr. Murray Baba Kama, and he talks of Dr. Murray. He says, isn't this happy with that? That it's ludicrous. What do you mean Rabbi Yankov has to pay? Rabbi Yankov doesn't do anything. Rabbi Yankov is just the one that said and did. And he goes into all. I couldn't even follow. I went a line or two, and then I stopped. I said, what's next for me? It's obvious that when a nation saw fit to take such a thing as the Arab law and record it, they couldn't record the Arab law verbatim. It's like a government. It's like a government. The government, do you believe that we know the secrets of the United States government? Here and there we find out that a CIA officer was killed in Greece. Are we aware that it's the CIA? We know there's a CIA. We don't know what they're doing. And they're right. Well, they're going to go tell me what they're doing. I know what they're doing. These are not issues for a layman. The same thing when they wrote down the Gemara. The Gemara says about you burn a cat, you put it on the ice. The Gemara is not a book of witchcraft. The Gemara is not a book of witchcraft. The Gemara is a book of the Torah Shebal, of the oral law and it cannot be. The great majority of the Gemara is open and obvious, but it's also obvious that in many, many places in the Gemara you see that you don't know what the Gemara is saying. You don't know what the Gemara is saying. Yes.
Yeah, but when it says so, it also says that you should not do it before you're some age.
Whatever it says, any of those Gemara, it doesn't say even crazy. Whenever you see any of those Gemaras, there's more Gemaras. There's Gemaras about medicine. You'll take a look in the introduction to the Einayta from Rabbeinu Moshe Chaim Lutzaka. He said, the Gemara was back then. There wasn't a scientific laboratory. The medicine in the Gemara is not relevant. So anybody who follows the medicine in the Gemara is crazy. They'll get sick. One moment. But the medicine in the Gemara was a device of recording something that they wanted to record in that fashion, which it was not obvious. They garbed it in a garbage medicine. But the ones who know, the ones that who have privy knowledge, who know how to learn Gemara, big tzaddikim, a big priest, they understand it in the Gemara. He how to take apart of the Gemara. This is a device for us to preserve what has to be preserved through gold.
So it's code.
It's a code. And you'll find, I'll show you another example, a very interesting example. When you learn Gemara, you'll see. When the Gemara starts off, the Gemara asks the question, is it din? And the Gemara, well, this is a little different. I don't want to visualize it. This is something else. But you see this in numerous places in the Gemara, where we see that the Gemara itself, an eagle that's as big as a city, and it laid an egg, and it broke, the egg broke, and it flooded a city. And in many, many places, there are already, in certain places, there are already, in the Rishonim that already point out what certain things mean. Okay? What was the other question?
Meaning of Revelation China.
Listen, I'll tell you something. I'm tired. I can't resist you. I'll tell you a very interesting thing. It's relevant to this conversation too. Yesterday I met with a fellow who was really a very big genius, and we were discussing, have you ever heard of Wittgenstein, Bertrand Russell? Method, contemporary method of philosophy, which they maintain is the most potent, that from the times of Socrates and down, philosophy hardly means full of nonsense, except if you use this method of logical positivism. I'm going to tell you something, and you have to listen. It's not easy stuff. There's a payrik in Pirkei Avos. Give me a dinner, I can show you this. Oh, thank you, Dr. Beckner. In Pirkei Avos it says the following, a very peculiar payrik. Here, it's the fifth payrik. The first Mishnah in the fifth payrik. The world was created, it's a Mishnah in the ethics of our fathers. The world was created with 10 articulations. The Almighty emanated 10, issued forth 10 articulations that created the world. So the Mishnah, so my Talmud learned, what is the meaning of this? The omnipotent one, the Almighty, that could create a word ex nihilo, out of nothing. Ex nihilo, out of nothing, with 10 articulations. Couldn't he create a world with one articulation? Hello! The Mishnah says a very peculiar answer. Hello, with a Torah and a Rishonim, Shema Abdim, with the Olam, Shem Nivra, Basara Mamoros. You want to know why it's necessitated 10 articulations. So the evil people, when they do evil, so the Almighty will revenge himself against them. And to give reward to the pious ones that sustain a world which was created with 10 articulations. Not the morale and all the big commentaries here. The meaning, the Mishnah seems to be funny. It doesn't make sense. For instance, if I have a house, it's worth $50,000, $100,000. I'll go to the insurance company and I'll insure it for $2 million. Then it'll break down. It's ridiculous. The house is only worth $100,000. What should you get $2 million for? Oh, you must understand. Right now I want to collect $2 million. It doesn't work that way. You insure it for its value. If this is a world where the world's value is one articulation, so what do you mean? You went through a long route in order to punish the evil ones. You see, I took me 10 steps to create the world, and you did this and this in the world that took 10 steps, therefore you get tenfold punishment. And in order to give reward to the tzaddikim that they behave themselves in the world that took 10 steps. And it doesn't make sense. You could have made it in one step. Why are you making it difficult? It's a very logical question. The morality of this question. The answer is fantastic. Because you missed the whole point of the mission. He says, if the world would have been created the Mamarechot with one articulation, so what would we know? We would know there's a world. Significant, but the world, what give it? If we were to philosophically approach the world, we say there's a world and that's it. He says, but now that the world was created with a Torah Mamarot, with 10 articulations, what do we see? We see a series. We see an order. We see an order. We see an outstanding feature of the world is that there is a fantastic order in the world. Any scientist that's worth his salt will tell you that what astonishes scientists most is the order that there is everything in chemistry, in physics, in electromagnetism, wherever you go, in every field of science, in medicine, what impresses one most is the fantastic order that exists in the physical world. In this Mishnah it says that the world was created with 10 steps, what to teach man that in the spiritual world too, there is a fantastic order. There must be an order. There must be an order. And all the ills, and all the woes, and all the sorrows, and all the tragedy, and all the anguish and heartbreak of man is because the world lacks the symmetry that it should have. In this Mishnah it says that when a fellow goes and sins and creates evil in the world, they're telling him, listen, you're disturbing the symmetry, you're breaking an order. And when a person does what's right, they're not giving him points. They're telling him, look, you are sustaining and you're strengthening the symmetry in the world. That's the meaning of this mission. It becomes increasingly clear we live in a world of phenomenal wisdom, phenomenal development in technology. Believe me, if we brought down here a big professor of computers, and he would try to explain to us what a computer can do, our mind can't grasp it. Our mind can't grasp it. I once heard a lecture on computers, years ago, when it first came out, the guy said it would take 1,000 accountants to work 1,000 years to solve this problem that the computer solves in an hour. 1,000 accountants for 1,000 years to get the information that the computer gives in an hour. We say, we went to Mars. Do you know what it takes to go to Mars? You know how many instruments? You have no idea of physics. If you listen, I read physics. What do I know about? I know a little bit. I was reading Max Planck, with light, with this, with the quantum theory. My head begins to spin. My head, you read Heisenberg's law of the indeterminability of matter. My mind, I got a headache. Advances in medicine, advances in science. What's the state of the world? The state of the world is, I look in the paper every day. This guy was shot, this guy was robbed, this one was raped, this one was mutilated, this one, Kindergarten Street. It's not only here. Insanity in all the universities, a total moral and ethical collapse. It doesn't make sense. What is all the wisdom doing? Where is the wisdom? You would think that you go into a university, you would see people calm and at peace and an ethical beauty. You would think you come in there. I was in a university a few years ago. I didn't know where I was. I was frightened. I was frightened. I was listening to people talk. I don't even understand half of the language. Terminology. I don't understand the core language. And this is not just, my reaction. This is a secular reaction. We know that the world, we're living in a world right now, you press a button, that you know there's two places in the world. Where you press that button, the world is over. The world is over. There's a place where a guy has a job this big, that if that job breaks, it can wipe out half the world with the Germans. I wonder what it's like. Everybody knows that there's something, there's asymmetric in the world. The world order is totally distorted and perverted. What happened to the teachings of Aristotle? What philosophy is 2,000 years old and older? I asked the question. There must be, I don't think I'm exaggerating if I say that there are 2,000 professors of philosophy in the United States universities. Certainly, did you ever hear of a professor of philosophy that has a following of 1,000 disciples? I never heard of such a thing. Sidney Hook, who's the old man of philosophy here in New York City, that he has 10 disciples with their life. And if they're disciples, it's only, in the mind. It doesn't affect their lives. One could be a drunk, and one could be a dope addict, and the other bankrupt. Because the total wisdom of the world doesn't address itself to the total mechanism of the human being. It doesn't. Somebody can ask, what is this 613 mitzvahs in those 4 big books with the thousands of laws, the code of Jewish law? What is it? It's symmetry. It's balance. It's control. It's direction. In a tempestuous sea, you have to have a navigator. You have to have some sort of a navigation. You have to know where you're going. No human mind. You can take all the philosophers that ever existed from the dawn of history, from the beginning of philosophy, until the end of time, and put them together. They can't put together a system. They cannot put together an abstract logical system that addresses itself to the reality of any person's existence. Okay. The reason that Torah has to be revealed, that it has to be revelation, because there has to be a wisdom that came from a place where the beginning of man came. There has to be a body of chokhmah in the world that touch every aspect, every cell of the human being. Otherwise, it's not relevant. We believe that Moshe Rabbeinu went to Sinai and the Rebbeinu Shlomo gave him a Torah. Because no one can give a Torah for whole people, for any person. What's good for Aristotle is not good for Schopenhauer. What's good for Schopenhauer is not good for only Bergman. And certainly not good for us. A body of laws that should address itself to people can only be given to the Moshe. This is why Torah has to be revealed. Here, Jack. That's right. I just was discussing why it has to be through revelation. Yes, Rabbi Lieber.
What we said about the Gemara says the code, does that have to do with shadim also and other things that I mentioned in the Gemara like that?
My impression, the Rambam says there's no such a thing as shadim. And there's a whole big dispute between the Rishonim if there isn't. But you see, the Rambam says there isn't. The Gemara talks about those things. I would say it goes under the same category. Yes. What's your name? Shlomo Gaber? Yes.
Let me ask you this. I don't think the Rambam would consider shady and cutting under the same category.
Well, what do you mean? I don't understand.
Like you just said, shady.
No, we're talking about shady something else. No, not shady. No. Yes, Jeff.
The manufacturer was created and put it together. He's the one who gives you the instructions, but they use those effectively have the most out of it, how to put together and so forth. Same thing with Hashem created the world, and you how well was effectively what and happened and so forth. I mean, we respect the world and both.
Good international, good illustration. Yeah.
Do you think that philosophers waste their time with what they do, with their theories and everything? It makes it sound like their work is very little.
That's an oversimplification. You have to. My personal belief, there is a value in philosophy as a technique. In other words, a person doesn't know how to think. He's not trained. His mind is untuned. Various philosophies have brought certain points into focus that brought, through the thinking, through the techniques of analysis, have brought certain points into focus. You'd be amazed at the foolishness sometimes that you find in the very great philosophers. If you read Aristotle sometimes, you can find things in it that are ridiculous. I personally, I'm not coming here to say with the weight of the hand that, that 2,000 years of philosophy is nothing. I mean, I'm not that naive. But as a system to develop a person, to make him reach his highest dimension, I have not seen a person who has grown from philosophy. A philosophy is a mental exercise. In certain areas, for instance, in ethics, in a way, they brought into focus there is such a thing as ethics. But it's not a dynamic force in society. None of us, or our parents, or our friends, or our classmates are ethical because there is a science of ethics in philosophy. There are people, and you must know, there are people, right or wrong, I'm talking from a purely secular point of view, who laugh at philosophy. And you have to know that the latest philosophers, the logical positivists, in a way, they also aren't too awed by whatever was before that. What will be after them, I don't know.
Philosophy is good, not to the extent that it's used today.
Philosophy is good. It's a mental exercise. There are derivatives, there are benefits that one could get from philosophy. It's not a system for living. It's not something to compel you to get up in the morning, do this and do that. I feel it's misunderstood and abused. I think it's misunderstood. Yeah, Rabbi Paul. Yeah. Yeah.
For revelation today, how do we come to know exactly how the way is supposed to be?
I don't understand your question. What is the proper way to be? For why? Oh, well, revelation. Why there's no revelation? Today, this is an interesting shmuz. This is a shmuz by itself. You know, there are different madregas. There are different categories of revelation. The chief and primary category of revelation is nevuah. Then there is a secondary source which has certain subcategories, which is called Ruach HaKodesh. What way? I don't know. We have to understand the distinctions between nevuah and Ruach HaKodesh. Then there is a Gemara in Baba Basra, which says, Chochem Adaf Minov, a most enchanting Gemara. The Gemara says the wise man, his Adaf is superior to the prophet. And this has to have an explanation, and perhaps at a different time we'll talk about it. This is, I don't want to just skirmish, skim over this. Yes, Shlomo.
I would think, now, if you know, the graduating, some is about going to keep it up, rabbis, thinking about college. What do you think about the college?
Well, I think the following: a person has to survive in this world.
Did you go to college?
Me, no. I didn't go. I just went to yeshiva. But a person has to have a profession. A person has to have a source of making a living. If you could climb up the side of the building and get into a fourth floor without being caught, you don't have to go to college. You understand? But very few of us can do that. You understand? We have to have a way of living. There's some people that they're born, they're people that have tremendous genius in their hands. I know that young men in yeshiva, some of them I tell them not to go to college at all. They're fantastically powerful and creative with their hands. Some of them are tremendous businessmen. Tell them not to waste their time. Go right into business. And they did it, and they're doing very well. Others feel that they want to have a profession. They're married and they're learned, and some of them are part-time in the yeshiva. Some of them should go to college. Understand? But one thing you have to be very careful when you go to college. You should see it shouldn't interfere with your education. and it's a reality. Yes?
What about going to college for the sake of learning and for the sake of job?
To go to college for the sake of learning, here already I have doubts. For instance, I didn't go to school. And if I would have gone to college, it would have hampered my learning. If you want to learn, you understand, this is already a problem that, from training. You're trained. If you want to learn something, you have a teacher spoon-feed you, but that's ridiculous. If you want to learn, really want to learn, there are enough books, there are enough sources where you can learn in 1 week what it takes you 2 months to learn in school. To learn for the sake of learning, you don't have to go to college. Unless, for instance, it's a technical thing like chemistry. Even chemistry, if you're brilliant, you don't even need it. But if it's certain technical things that you need a laboratory and someone to initiate you into the incipiatory stages of the wisdom, otherwise it's Jack. That's a different discussion. That's already, that's a different discussion. You're right, 100%. You graduated college. So, but we're talking about now the attitude on the objective is, in itself, its own merit. Yeah, you're 100%, Jeff, but I don't think that Shlomo Gaba is going to deal with that right now.
When they're in college, you take yourself away from certain things and you place yourself in the environment of others. There's two places where
Sabra is, they so shish kebab. Gentlemen, you must excuse me. You must excuse me. Jeff, Zaid, I must rush away. I have an appointment in Manhattan. Okay, gentlemen, I hope to see you next week.